Hello there, I'm Theo and this is my love nest. Welcome and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now that you're here, please watch it all the way to the end. A very big shout out to everybody who subscribes to my channel so far, everybody who likes my videos, everybody who comments, and everybody who has recommended my content to other people. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed already, please do click on the subscribe button and put the notification bell on so you know every time I put up a video. Without wasting any time, let's get into today's video. You might have seen from the title of the video that we are doing another radiography video. We're going to be talking about student radiography interviews, what to expect when you go for an interview to be a student radiographer training in a particular institution. This video is going to be in 3 parts. I'll have the part of the setup where I tell you what to expect, and I'll have the part of your appearance and how you conduct yourself basically, and then lastly will be the part of questions. So I'll be giving you the questions you should expect and how to answer them, and I'll be giving you a few tips here and there. So yeah, let's get right into the video. I'll be sharing my experience with interviews for a radiography student, and that was back in 2015, so things might have changed a little bit here and there, but most of the stuff will be the same. More especially the questions they'll ask you, they'll still remain the same. And another thing I'd like to highlight is the fact that ever since COVID started, a lot of things have changed. They could probably be doing your interviews online, or you would have them in any other way but just not in person. So please note that. But if you're going to be having your interview in person, this is what you should expect. First is the setup. Usually, instead of you having to go for 5 interviews, the hospitals usually have, okay, so what happens is that hospitals have partnerships, right? So public hospitals that are accredited by UJ to train radiography students sort of have partnership, and most private hospitals also have partnerships. Some are under the same company. For instance, Theo Medicals could have 5 other branches, so that's one hospital. So instead of you going to all those 5 little branches, if you've applied to all 5, you could just have one interview with all the representatives. So what you can expect is that when you go into your interview room, you'll find probably 8 people who will be interviewing you, and this is people of different races, different genders. You have your black, white, colored, Indian, male, female, everybody will be there. And I think part of that's just what I think they have this diversity just to intimidate you a little bit, just to see where you're standing, but don't let it put you off. It's just how they do things. So you walk into a room full of people, and like I said, since COVID, things could be different. Sometimes you might only be interviewed by 1 person, sometimes you might only have 2 people, sometimes the interview will be online with a full panel of 8 people, sometimes you could have an interview of just 3 people. It depends. Situations vary also depending on how big the institution is. Sometimes if you're only being interviewed by 1 person, by 1 hospital, you only have 2 people representing the hospital. And if you're being interviewed by a couple of hospitals at the same time, you will have then probably 2 representatives from each of the hospitals. So just bear in mind, but nothing really dramatic. It's nothing you can't handle basically. And then secondly, on your appearance, rather what they're expecting from you, they're expecting a confident person. No matter how intimidated you feel, how nervous you feel, just don't show that you're actually nervous. They know you are, but don't be there trembling and spilling water everywhere and whatever. And be informal. It does not necessarily have to be a suit and a tie or a pair of heels, but be presentable, be decent. At the end of the day, it is a job interview, so Look formal, look presentable, look like somebody they can trust, somebody they can hire. And if you'll be wearing makeup, just make it as natural as it can be. Just don't overdo it. Don't go there looking like a clown or a doll, because that's the impression they're gonna have of you, that this girl is probably gonna show up late for work trying to look the way she looks right now. So if you're wearing makeup, be as normal and as presentable as you can be. And I'd advise you don't wear makeup at all. Well, it's from personal preferences, whatever you want, but just don't be dramatic. And yeah, if they offer you a glass of water or a bottle of water, please accept the water, because you'll be fine as you're walking in, but 5 minutes down the interview you're nervous and yeah, your throat is giving up on you and you just need water. And now they offered you water when you walked in, but you're like, nah, good, I'm good, thank you, whatever. Now you really do need the water. So if they offer you water, do take the water. And if you're like me and you talk with your hands, please just try and keep it minimal. Don't like talk with your hands all over and they're on your face and they're distracting people, blah blah blah. Don't do that. If you're going to be using your hands, keep them as low as you can, and don't, just, you can use your hands to demonstrate or to what's that word, to emphasize, but don't on people's faces or on your face, because now it's destructive. And if you're gonna be wearing lashes, make sure you glue them properly. You don't want to be doing what I'm doing right now. Anyway, do look the people in the eyes. If somebody at the far left is talking to you, be sure to look at them. Somebody at the far right, be sure to look at them. Somebody over here, be sure to look at them. Somebody here, look at everybody in their eyes. Then the last thing you want is for them to think you're bored or you're not paying attention while they're talking to you and you're busy looking at your fingernails. It's also very rude. So try and keep eye contact, and when you answer their questions, be as projective as possible. Make sure they can all hear you. Everybody in the room can hear you, even if you have a very soft voice, but try and be audible. Let everybody hear what you're saying and speak clearly. Yeah, don't be like me. Don't speak too fast, because they'll keep saying, what did you say, what did you say? Just, you have all the time in the room. They're not gonna tell you you're wasting our time, leave, whatever. Just, if you feel like you have to take a minute to answer every question, do so. And if you didn't understand the question, you're more than welcome to ask them to rephrase or ask again or whatever. And on to the part that you've all been waiting for, the part where I tell you about what to expect, what questions rather to expect, and how to answer them. Please note that not all of the questions here will be asked, but definitely the questions here will be asked. And they might add more questions, also depending on what they're getting from you. They might like to know a little bit more. Maybe you told them you have a business. They might like to know a little bit about the business, or they'll ask you about your business. But just bear in mind, all the questions here, 98% of the questions here will be asked on your day of the interview. And yeah, let's get right into it. So they'll ask you to tell them about yourself. So first question will be, would like to get to know you, so please tell us about yourself. And be as simple and as basic as you can be. You're not trying to be fancy to them, not so yeah, I own, I don't know, what's the most expensive fragrance, whatever. They don't want to know about that. Tell them who you are, your name, and your academic background. If you've just recently finished your matric, you can let them know, I just finished my matric. And yeah, usually these exams are done around November, December, so that's when you just finish writing your final exam. So just tell them, I just wrote my exam and I applied for next year, nothing fancy. And if maybe you finished a year before and you took a gap year, you can just let them know, I matriculated in 2020 and I took a gap year, and this is what I did in my gap year. If maybe there is something you did, maybe you got your driver's license, or you started a business, or whatever you may have done. Even if you didn't do anything, just let them know that you matriculated the year before and you took a year just to just to relax, or whatever the reason may be. If you feel you're comfortable enough to tell them why you took a gap year, you can let them know that. And secondly, they will ask you, what do you know about radiography? So at this point, or rather at this stage, they're not expecting you to be an expert or know deep details about what radiography is. You can just, in the simplest way possible, tell them it's the imaging of the human body, or it's taking photographs of the body, or it's the eye of medicine, however way you want to put it. Oh, excuse me. However way you want to put it, just make sure that you are explaining that radiography is about taking pictures of the human body. So whatever you do, you can include imaging, you can include photograph. Your definition should just go along those way of pictures, body. And then secondly, they will ask you, not secondly, one of the questions they might ask you is, what do you know about radiation? Because as a radiographer, you're going to be working with radiation. And please refrain from saying that radiation causes cancer or radiation is dangerous or whatever. Then why are you getting into this career, or why are you going to this field if it's dangerous, if it causes cancer? Rather, what you might say is that first you can define what radiation is. And how do you define radiation? That's the homework. Please go Google or get a definition of radiation and comment in the comment section and tell us what radiation is. And they might tell you, what do you know about it? And a lot of people obviously know the negative about radiation, which is that it can cause cancer, but it is less likely. So if you're going to be talking about cancer, about radiation causing cancer, do mention that excessive exposure to radiation can cause cancer. And by excessive, I don't mean that you take an x-ray today and tomorrow and you have cancer. No, over a long period of time, if you keep getting exposed to radiation on the same part of your body, then the cells in that part of your body will die or mutate, and then that is what can cause cancer. But not just you getting an x-ray can cause cancer. So it's much more deeper than that. So if you're going to be talking about radiation and cancer, make sure you do elaborate. Don't just say radiation causes cancer, because then in that case, all radiographers and radiologists and every radiation worker basically has cancer. And another question they're most likely to ask you is, why did you choose radiography? This is personal for everybody. I feel like everybody has the same answer, their own answer, but one of the most common answer you get is, I love it, I'm passionate about helping people, and which can be true, but sometimes it's not really true, so be careful. So you can just tell them, yes, I love radiography, or I'm passionate about helping people. Some people do say that I wanted to be in the health field, so I discovered that radiography is more technical, and I'm a more technical person, so I enjoyed that. Really is up to you. Remember, the point here is for you to sell yourself. You're selling yourself to the interviewer. You want them to call you back again. So do say positive things about yourself. Say things like, I enjoy making a difference in people's lives, and I believe that being part of the diagnostic team will help the patient find out what is wrong with them, and I would have played a part in their diagnosis, blah blah blah. Just sell yourself positively. Then next, they will ask you, what are your strengths? Remember, you are selling yourself. You want these people to like you, you want them to love you, you want them to call you back again and say, congratulations, you're going to be practicing in our practice, blah blah blah. So whatever you say, make sure you are selling yourself enough to get them to call you back. Your strengths could be things like, I'm a good team player, I've got good time management, I'm a team leader, I'm innovative, I'm a fast learner, all these good things about yourself. I adapt quickly to an environment. Just keep them coming, you know, all these good things. Make sure they like you, make sure they love you, make sure whatever you're saying is something you think is going to be useful for the institution. And then next, obviously, after asking about your strengths, will be, what are your weaknesses? So here's the trick. I wish I knew this before I had my interview. Well, I passed it anyway, but I feel like it would have done a very huge difference. What you want to do is you want to give something positive but make it look like a weakness. So here's an example. You could say that your weakness is that you are a perfectionist, right? And as a result, people feel like you take longer to do a task because you want it to come out perfect. On the bright side, okay, this is bad because Theo, you're a perfectionist. You take what, you know, but on the bright side is, as a radiographer, you know, you're working with technique. You have to get certain angles perfect. You have to get some positioning perfect. The picture has to come out in a certain way. So you being a perfectionist means that you're going to get them a perfect picture. You know, you could use anything, you know, you could think of anything positive, but use it as a weakness. You know, you could say things like I can't think of anything from the top of my head right now, but you get what I mean. And next, they will ask you if you are willing to work weekends, public holidays, night shifts, and all sorts of these things. Your answer here should be yes, because 7 out of 10 times that is how your life is gonna be as a radiographer. You will be expected, sometimes not all the time, you'll be expected to work holidays, weekends, night shifts, and sometimes even on your birthday. So you should be willing to say, yes, I am willing to work on those days. I don't have a problem. And they might also ask you that, will you be able to balance school and work? Because as a student radiographer, we will expect you to be at work or in hospital for 2 weeks and on campus for 2 weeks. And also note that your test dates and your assignments, whatever, their due dates do not change because you're at work. So if you have an assignment that is due on a week block, on a work block, there's gonna have to be a way where you balance doing the assignment and being at work, you know, submitting stuff online. Like, just let them know you are in for this, you will be able to do it, and you're determined for it, you're ready for it. Just make them love you, make them take you, because once you hesitate, they're going to say, well, she's gonna be failing at school and she's gonna blame work, or she's not gonna, or she won't show up for work because she's going to say she's got assignments. You'll be expected to do both at the same time. And I had remembered something which I just forgot again. Okay, I cannot remember what I had remembered, and I just forgot. But yeah, these are basically the questions you should expect from your interview. And yeah, this is some of the ways you can answer them. So usually your interview doesn't last over 30 minutes. It's very short, very straight to the point. And well, in my case, my panel was a lot friendlier, although I was quite nervous at first. But as time goes, few minutes in there, you judge the environment. After they've all introduced themselves, you realize they're not so bad, and you adjust into the situation. And yeah, man, this is basically it. Gosh, I'm still trying to remember what I had remembered and forgotten. If I remember it, I'm gonna put it in the comment section. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, please do give it a very big thumbs up, and do recommend it to other people who are interested in doing radiography, or who might have their interviews coming up soon. Let them come watch this and get to know a little bit about what is happening. Also, this video was inspired by the fact that after the last 2 videos I did, a lot of people were asking me about what to expect, what kind of questions, how do they answer them, and things like that. Yeah, at the end of your interview, they might ask you to confirm your contact details, so that if you're successful they can call you back. At the end of your interview, be sure to thank everybody with a smile, even though you feel like your interview was bad, although I'm sure it will not be bad after watching this. But yeah, thank everybody with a smile and cross your fingers and wait for them to call you. And yeah, this is basically it. Until I see you again, please take care and share the love. Bye.